In a small town, 4-year-old Alex had formed an inseparable bond with his dog, Buster. As Buster's health declined and he suffered an incurable illness, Alex's parents made the difficult decision to have him put to sleep, to spare him any more pain. In the vet's waiting room, Alex hugged Buster tightly, whispering goodbye. But as the vet prepared for the procedure, he stopped abruptly, muttering, "This is not good." Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. Melanie and Jason exchanged a confused look after the doctor spoke those words. "Dr. Reed, what are you talking about?" they asked, but the doctor did not reply. He was too busy rummaging through one of the cabinets in the examination room, and it seemed like he was looking for something, although they didn't know what exactly. They heard Dr. Reed mumbling something about conducting one last test, which didn't make any sense to them. They had done so many tests already, and they had all shown that the best solution was to put Buster to sleep. He was sick, and there was no way to save him. Jason approached Dr. Reed to ask him what was going on, but before he could even do that, the doctor did something surprising. "You stay right here, and I'll be right back," the vet said, and he disappeared through the door. Jason and Melanie were left with their mouth wide open in surprise, but Alex hadn't even noticed what had happened. "Buster hug, no sleep," he said as he threw his arms around the dog. He was just being thankful for some extra time with his best friend. For Alex, it was the most difficult to deal with Buster being put to sleep. His parents had already had Buster when he was born, so he was used to his presence his entire life. It would be so strange for him to come home and not have Buster come running to him, greeting him as soon as he opened the door. Alex's parents then joined him at the examination table for one last family hug. They were all going to miss Buster so much. Melanie and Jason had no idea what was going on and where Dr. Reed had gone, but they were grateful to have some more time with their beloved family dog. Each extra minute they could spend with him was like a special gift. They were happy to have one last moment with their family, the three of them and Buster, all together. Tears welled up in their eyes as they realized that this was really their final goodbye, and they recounted all the beautiful memories they had of Buster. However, the peaceful moment was shattered when Dr. Reed suddenly stormed into the room. Melanie and Jason quickly looked up, wiping away the tears from their eyes and thinking that this was it. The moment had come. They all took a step back, away from the table, giving Dr. Reed the space he needed to prepare everything to put Buster to sleep. However, they were taken entirely by surprise when they saw what the vet did next. Dr. Reed approached the table and petted Buster, telling him that he was such a good boy. He then picked him up, and everyone thought that he was just doing this to place Buster in the correct position for the procedure. However, then Dr. Reed simply ran out of the room, still holding Buster in his arms. Melanie and Jason were left completely baffled, and Alex started crying. What was going on? Alex stormed into his mother's arms, tugging at her sleeve, asking, "Mommy, what happened? Where is Buster?" Melanie consoled him and told him that everything was going to be okay, while silently mouthing to Jason, "What the heck?" Jason crouched on his knees before Alex and told him, "It's all right, buddy. I will go and find Buster and I'll bring him back." So, Jason left as well, and Monica and Alex stayed in the room, waiting for them to return. But that didn't happen. It was all so incredibly confusing. They had agreed to put Buster to sleep while they were in the room with him so that they could be there during his final moments. And now, Dr. Reed had just taken him. Where were they? Melanie tried to soothe Alex with a story about Buster's adventures, hoping to distract him from the silence. Alex, clutching his mom's hand, occasionally glanced at the door, his small face a mix of hope and confusion. The clock ticked loudly, marking the passage of time as they sat together, enveloped in the sterile quiet of the examination room. The room felt smaller as minutes turned into hours. Melanie checked her phone repeatedly, but there was no message from Jason. Alex fidgeted with a toy car, rolling it along the edge of the table, lost in his own world. Melanie gave him a reassuring smile, despite the growing worry knotting her stomach. The quiet of the clinic was unnerving. Hoping for any sign of Jason or Dr. Reed, Melanie peeked through the slightly ajar door. The hallway stretched out, empty and silent, as if the clinic had been abandoned. She strained her ears for any sound, but the quiet was unbroken. Returning to Alex, she forced a smile, not wanting to alarm him with her own growing fear. Melanie knew she couldn't leave Alex alone in the room, his eyes wide with questions. She decided it was time to act. "Let's find Buster and Daddy," she said, trying to sound brave. Alex's face lit up with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Hand in hand, they stepped into the hallway, leaving the safety of the examination room behind. Melanie, driven by a mix of panic and determination, began her search for Dr. Reed and Buster, navigating through the clinic with Alex by her side. They moved cautiously, Melanie's eyes scanning each doorway they passed, hoping to find any clue that would lead them to Buster and Jason. Alex, trying to keep up, held tightly to her hand, his trust in her unwavering. Melanie, with Alex's hand in hers, started a determined search through the clinic. They moved quickly, Melanie's eyes darting from one room to another, her heart pounding. The clinic, a maze of hallways and doors, felt larger and more daunting than ever. "We'll find them, buddy," she whispered to Alex, more to reassure herself than him. Realizing the difficulty of searching with Alex in tow, Melanie looked around for somewhere he could stay. Spotting a colorful play area in the corner of the waiting room, she pondered briefly. She needed to find Buster and Jason fast, but she couldn't do that while worrying about Alex every second. A solution had to be found, and quickly. A sympathetic receptionist noticed Melanie's distressed look and approached. "Can I help with anything?" she offered. Gratefully, Melanie explained the situation. The receptionist smiled warmly, assuring her, "Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on Alex. Go find your dog." Relieved, Melanie squeezed Alex's hand, promising she'd be back soon, and resumed her search with renewed urgency. Melanie scoured the clinic, opening every door she could, her pace quickening with each empty room. The staff looked on with puzzled faces as she briefly explained her mission, rushing from one examination room to another. Her heart sank a little more with each "no, sorry" she received. Where could they have gone? Despite asking everyone she could find, staff, pet owners, even a delivery guy, no one had seen Dr. Reed or Buster. Melanie's worry deepened with each encounter, her frustration mounting. She needed answers, and fast. As she moved from room to room, her determination hardened. She had to find them, for Alex, for Buster, for her own peace of mind. Melanie's frustration mounted as she moved from one locked door to the next, navigating the clinic's bustling corridors. She barely noticed the curious glances thrown her way by staff and visitors alike. Each closed door seemed to mock her urgency, her steps quickening as if to outrun the sinking feeling in her gut. She approached anyone in a clinic uniform, her voice steady but tinged with desperation. "Have you seen Dr. Reed?" But each shake of the head felt like a small defeat. Not a single staffer could recall seeing either the vet or Buster, further blurring her hope with confusion. The clinic's usual sounds, the barks, meows and chirps, mixed with the murmur of conversations, seemed amplified in Melanie's ears. This cacophony heightened her sense of urgency as she weaved through groups of people and pets, her eyes searching for any sign of Buster or Dr. Reed among the faces and leashes. Melanie's inquiries spilled over to pet owners in the waiting area, interrupting their conversations and moments of comfort with their pets. Apologetic but determined, she asked if they'd seen the vet or her dog. Faces full of sympathy, but no recognition told her all she needed to know. They were as unaware of Dr. Reed's whereabouts as she was. Melanie pulled out her phone, dialing Jason's number with trembling fingers. Each ring echoed in her ears, amplifying her anxiety as she paced the quiet corner of the clinic. The call dropped to voicemail, unanswered. She tried again, hoping for a different outcome, but silence was her only reply. With each failed attempt, her worry for Jason and Buster spiked. The clinic, usually a place of solace, now felt like an echoing chamber of Melanie's fears. She walked the halls, phone in hand, feeling the weight of isolation as her calls continued to go unanswered. The buzz of clinic activity around her contrasted sharply with her internal turmoil, making her feel even more alone in her search for answers. Each attempt to reach Jason ended in vain, leaving Melanie to pace the floor with growing desperation. Why hadn't he returned? Where could he and Buster possibly be? These questions churned in her mind, tangling with her fears. The absence of any word from Jason only deepened the mystery and her worry, making the clinic's walls feel closer with each passing moment. As time ticked away, Melanie's thoughts increasingly turned to Buster. What if something had happened to him? The possibility of her beloved dog in distress, perhaps even worse, haunted her. She clutched her phone tighter, feeling a surge of urgency. Buster's well-being was her priority, and the lack of information only fueled her fears for his safety. With no news of Buster or Jason, Melanie felt a crushing sense of helplessness. She had searched, called, and asked, yet every effort seemed to lead nowhere. This absence of information, the silence on Jason's end, it all compounded into a heavy blanket of worry. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong, leaving her to question her next steps in this silent clinic. As Melanie navigated the clinic's corridors, her hope was fading fast. That was until she overheard two staff members talking about a special case Dr. Reed was handling. They spoke with an air of secrecy and urgency that piqued Melanie's interest. Could Buster be the special case? The possibility reignited a spark of hope within her. The snippets of conversation hinted at Dr. Reed's unwavering dedication, suggesting he might have discovered something crucial about Buster's condition. This revelation spurred a mix of emotions in Melanie: hope, curiosity, and a renewed sense of purpose. It seemed Dr. Reed was onto something potentially life-changing for Buster, and Melanie was more determined than ever to find out what it was. Hearing about the special case was all Melanie needed to fuel her determination. It was clear that Dr. Reed's commitment to Buster was not just professional, but personal. This realization pushed Melanie to continue her search with renewed vigor, her steps quickening as she navigated through the clinic, intent on uncovering the truth behind Dr. Reed's mysterious actions. As Melanie asked around, she encountered staff members who shared stories of Dr. Reed's dedication to his patients. While they admired his commitment, their details about his current whereabouts were frustratingly vague. Yet, this only made Melanie more curious and determined. She knew that Dr. Reed's unusual dedication might just be the key to finding Buster. This new piece of information was a vital clue for Melanie. Though the details were scarce, the knowledge that Buster was considered a special case gave her hope and a reason not to give up. It was a testament to the lengths Dr. Reed was willing to go for his patients. With this in mind, Melanie decided she couldn't give up her search now, not when there might still be hope for Buster. Melanie's heart leapt as she caught a fleeting glimpse of Dr. Reed carrying Buster into a restricted area of the clinic. The sight sparked a whirlwind of emotions within her: relief at seeing Buster alive, confusion about their destination, and fear of the unknown. She rushed forward, hoping to follow, but found herself staring at a closed door marked "Authorized Personnel Only." Standing before the shut door, Melanie was torn. She reached out, half expecting it to open, but it remained firmly locked. Her mind raced with possibilities and questions. Should she barge in, demand answers, or wait? The urgency of the situation battled with her respect for clinic protocols. She felt helpless, caught in a moment of uncertainty on how to proceed next. Melanie grappled with her fears, imagining the worst about Buster's fate. Was Dr. Reed making a heartbreaking decision right now, without them? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. She felt isolated, standing alone in the clinic's hallway, wrestling with the dread of not knowing what was happening behind the closed door. Ultimately, Melanie decided to wait outside the restricted area. She slid down the wall to the floor, her mind consumed with thoughts of Buster and what could possibly be happening to him. Each second felt like an eternity, her imagination running wild with scenarios, none of which did anything to calm her racing heart. Her decision to wait was fueled by a mix of desperation and the deep need for answers. Melanie couldn't bear the thought of leaving without knowing Buster's condition or understanding Dr. Reed's actions. It was a difficult choice, but she clung to the hope that waiting would eventually lead to some clarity, some resolution to the day's tumultuous events. As Melanie sat, lost in worry, a clinic volunteer approached her. Noticing her distress, the volunteer offered a vague explanation about Dr. Reed's urgent work. "He's doing something important," she said softly, trying to offer comfort without giving away too much. Melanie listened, a mix of confusion and hope stirring within her as she tried to grasp the meaning behind those words. The volunteer's careful words hinted at Buster undergoing some advanced diagnostics, sparking curiosity and a flicker of hope in Melanie. The idea that Dr. Reed was going to such lengths for Buster, that there might still be hope, was a balm to her frayed nerves. It didn't answer all her questions, but it was enough to keep her hope alive a little longer. Just when Melanie felt overwhelmed by her solitary vigil, Jason's unexpected arrival brought a rush of relief. His presence, filled with concern and urgency, reignited Melanie's determination to find out what was happening with Buster. Together, they exchanged quick updates, their shared worry for Buster knitting them closer in purpose. Reunited, Melanie and Jason's concern for Buster became a solid, unspoken pact between them. Their brief conversation, heavy with shared fears and hopes, fortified Melanie's resolve. Standing side by side, they felt stronger, more capable of facing whatever came next. Their combined determination was a testament to their bond, not just with each other, but with Buster as well. Together, Melanie and Jason decided to take their questions directly to the clinic's administration. They needed answers, not just for peace of mind, but to understand Buster's situation fully. With a newfound sense of unity, they walked towards the administration desk, determined to get the clarity they so desperately sought. Their steps were steady, driven by the need to know, to find out the truth. Melanie and Jason, united in their concern for Buster, walked determinedly towards the clinic's administration desk. Their faces were set, their resolve clear. They were ready to demand answers, to understand what had been happening with their beloved dog. Each step they took was a testament to their determination to uncover the truth, no matter how challenging it might be. Their approach was abruptly interrupted by the volunteer's return, this time with news that changed everything. Dr. Reed was finally ready to speak with them, she explained. The urgency in her voice caught Melanie and Jason off guard, shifting the momentum of their mission. The promise of answers straight from Dr. Reed himself paused their march towards the administration desk. Before the volunteers' intervention, Melanie and Jason's readiness to confront the administration underscored their unwavering determination. They were prepared to challenge, to question, to demand transparency for Buster's sake. This readiness was not just about confrontation. It was about their deep love and responsibility towards Buster, their family member in distress. The intervention by the volunteer shifted their focus significantly. From gearing up for a potentially confrontational exchange with the clinic's administration, Melanie and Jason now found themselves anticipating Dr. Reed's explanation. This shift from confrontation to anticipation marked a pivotal moment in their journey, realigning their energies towards understanding rather than demanding. The news from the volunteer momentarily eased Melanie and Jason's frustration. Knowing that Dr. Reed was ready to speak with them, directly redirected their next steps. Instead of bracing for a battle at the administration desk, they were now moving towards a meeting that held the promise of answers. This turn of events brought a subtle shift in their emotions, from anger and confusion to cautious hope. Melanie and Jason were led into a serene room bathed in sunlight, where Dr. Reed awaited them with Buster by his side. The room's calmness set a tense but hopeful atmosphere, a sharp departure from the turmoil they had felt. With every step towards Dr. Reed and Buster, their hearts beat a mix of dread and hope, the room a silent witness to the impending revelations. The sunlit room offered a stark contrast to the anxiety and confusion Melanie and Jason had carried. Its warmth and light suggested a moment of truth was upon them. As they took in the peaceful surroundings, it seemed as though the room itself was preparing them for what was to come, enveloping them in a sense of calm before the storm of revelations. The anticipation in the room was palpable as Melanie and Jason prepared themselves to hear Dr. Reed's discoveries about Buster. This moment marked a pivotal point in their journey, standing on the threshold of answers they had sought so desperately. The air was thick with the weight of the forthcoming news, every heartbeat a drum roll to the vet's impending revelations. The couple stood together, their concern for Buster evident in their anxious expressions and the tightness of their grips. Their united front was a testament to the bond they shared with Buster, a silent pledge to face whatever came their way. Their eyes, fixed on Dr. Reed and Buster, were windows to their souls, brimming with worry and an unspoken plea for good news. Dr. Reed's presence with Buster, calm and composed, hinted at significant news ready to be shared. His demeanor contrasted sharply with the couple's anxiety, offering a beacon of hope that perhaps the news might not be as dire as they feared. This calm before the storm of information set the stage for a conversation that would change everything for Melanie, Jason, and Buster. Dr. Reed began by recounting the moment Alex embraced Buster, highlighting its importance in his diagnosis. The interaction, he explained, was pivotal, revealing nuances in Buster's condition that he had previously overlooked. This moment of affection between a boy and his dog had unexpectedly provided Dr. Reed with a crucial insight, steering the diagnosis in a new, hopeful direction. Buster's illness was not what they initially thought, and he could be treated for it. He explained that Alex's interaction with Buster led him to suspect a rare but treatable condition, fundamentally altering the grim outlook they had faced. This revelation, Dr. Reed shared, prompted a reassessment of Buster's symptoms and the decision to conduct further tests, which confirmed the hopeful hypothesis. The diagnosis of a treatable condition marked a significant shift from despair to hope. This revelation was followed by detailed explanations of the further tests conducted, which confirmed the treatable nature of Buster's illness. Dr. Reed walked Melanie and Jason through the process, from the initial suspicion to the conclusive evidence that had illuminated their path forward. The thoroughness of these tests provided the evidence needed to map out a treatment plan for Buster. Dr. Reed outlined a hopeful yet rigorous treatment plan for Buster, signifying a shift from despair to cautious optimism. The plan, he detailed, was comprehensive, tailored to address Buster's specific needs and capitalize on the window of opportunity they now believed they had. For Melanie and Jason, this plan represented a beacon of hope, a tangible path towards Buster's recovery. The moment served as a turning point for everyone involved, transforming the anticipated grief into a path towards recovery and understanding. Dr. Reed's calm demeanor and the detailed plan for Buster's treatment filled the room with a new light, turning despair into a collective resolve to embark on this journey together, fortified by the unexpected hope that had emerged from their darkest fears. Inspired by Dr. Reed's hopeful diagnosis, Melanie, Jason, and Alex embarked on the treatment journey with Buster, fueled by hope. They approached each step of the plan with determination, their spirits lifted by the possibility of recovery. The family's daily routine now included Buster's treatments, each member playing a vital role in nurturing him back to health. The narrative highlighted the resilience of the family and their community, coming together to support Buster's recovery. Friends and neighbors offered their help, whether it was by providing meals, helping with chores, or simply being there to offer encouragement. This collective effort underscored the strong bonds within the community, all rallied around the well-being of one cherished dog. Themes of love, unity, and the bond between pets and their families were interwoven throughout the story, showcasing its heartwarming message. Melanie and Jason's unwavering commitment to Buster, supported by Alex's innocent faith, painted a picture of a family strengthened by adversity, their love for Buster a beacon of hope and unity in their journey. Buster's gradual recovery was depicted with each improvement celebrated as a testament to the family's dedication and love. Every small victory, from Buster wagging his tail to taking his first steps after the treatment began, was met with joy and gratitude. These moments, precious and uplifting, served as milestones in Buster's journey back to health, shared with everyone who had supported them. The story culminated in a serene scene, with Buster playfully engaging with Alex in their backyard, symbolizing hope, recovery, and the enduring power of love. This moment, simple yet profound, reflected the journey's impact on each of them, transforming anticipated grief into a path towards healing and understanding, their bond with Buster stronger and more precious than ever.